This is Empowering Women Everywhere. I am your host, Nan Gill, and today our guest is Suzanne Ordas Curry. She is currently involved in 4 movies, one as a co-producer and the other as an assistant producer. She is streaming 2 shows currently on Amazon. She is also the founder of Susie Behind the Scenes, an online site in which she and her writers cover her projects and movies. There is an emphasis on females in entertainment. She is also president of the Bergen County chapter of CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates for Children in Foster Care, which is a national organization. Hi, Suzanne.
Hi.
How are you?
Great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on our show. So first, I'd like to find out a little bit about what you're doing with CASA.
Sure. Thanks.
And a little bit more about the organization and how it works.
Thank you. Sure. Well, this is one of our problems with CASA. A lot of people have not heard of us before. CASA is Court-Appointed Special Advocates. It's a national organization. It's also known as GAL in some areas of the country. And most counties, or sometimes the counties are merged, have their own organization. And what we do is we provide advocates for children in foster care. So as soon as a child is removed from their home due to abuse or neglect, we have advocates waiting in the wings like angels to come and help them. They
Right.
might have their guardians, they might have their attorneys, they might have a social worker. Well, they do have a social worker, but those people are usually in charge of a lot of different people. Our advocates work one-on-one with the child. They're trained to know what that child needs. They make sure that the services that they're getting are appropriate for them, that they're getting the right services, that they're getting the educational services that they need, that their physical needs are being met also. And they are only assigned to that one child. So it's quite a job finding people to
Right.
be advocates. That's the
About if you want to become an advocate, how much time do you have to devote?
Well, I believe all of the CASA training sessions and the processes are very similar throughout the country.
Mm-hmm.
So here in Bergen County, we offer information sessions twice a month where you come in, they give you an introduction to what's needed, and if you are a good candidate and you have the desire and the time to do it, then we train you. And the training typically lasts 8 weeks, but now we have training where some of it's on the computer also. So it's about 8 weeks of training to learn everything that you need to know so that you can properly take care of the child.
And once you're an advocate, how much time during the week do you generally take to do?
Well, we have very good people that are advocates. You have to have a heart to be an advocate in the first place. You're
Right.
helping a child that you don't know, and you get to know them. And yet you have very little say except in the eyes of the court, and that's how you can advocate for them. So there's really no minimum. It all depends on your case, and
Right.
it depends on the kind of person you are. I mean,
Right.
I know people that spend many, many hours a week and get the job done, and it also depends on the complexity of the case. There could be siblings involved. There could be a mother in one county, father in another county. They could have to travel for school. They could be living in a homeless shelter in Newark. That's probably going to take a little bit more time to make
Right.
sure that that child gets everything that they need when they're not in a secure home.
I would imagine it would be a very rewarding thing and you would become very close with the child that you were an advocate for.
It's absolutely rewarding, and being the president of the board, I don't see that hands-on. I can only experience it through listening to the advocates.
Right.
And some of the stories that you hear will just bring tears to your eyes. I know now there's one story of a boy who wants to go to college, and he has no one to take him on the college visits. So the advocate is finding ways to get this person to visit his
Right.
his colleges.
It's amazing. It's amazing work. How long have you been involved with CASA?
I think I lose track. I've been president for 4 years, but I was doing their marketing pro bono, I think going back about 9 years, and that's how I got involved.
Now, you were involved in doing marketing for actors initially, correct?
Yes. Well, I've been doing public relations. I'm one of those rare people that what I studied in college and what I wanted to do, I'm still doing. many, many decades later. And it was unusual. It was actually when my kids were in school, I noticed how public relations was so necessary for nonprofits.
Right.
And I never really, I mean, that was always something you can do, nonprofit PR, but I didn't realize how necessary it was in every little facet of life, whether it be PTA. I started a few charities when I was younger, and one of them was someone that knew me from the PTA, knew of this girl that had multiple sclerosis, I believe, and couldn't walk. And the family wanted to raise money for her. And they came to me and they said, well, you know public relations, so just, what can you do for us?
How old were you then?
Well, I had 2 little kids, so I was a lot younger.
Oh, okay. So it
Yeah.
wasn't when you were in school, it was after.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And she came to you and she wanted you to help with public relations?
Yes, and that's when I caught the bug, actually, for doing nonprofit PR, because we raised about $50,000 for her.
Very nice.
Through different methods, and that's when you get the bug that what you're doing really can help people.
And then you started doing public relations for CASA,
Yes.
and that led into you being El Presidente.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Now, you started doing public relations for actors, and that went into your film and television career?
Yes. I was doing, basically business consumer public relations, and I was at a political event, and someone said, oh, my son just won for Beauty and the Geek, and he wants to do something else. Can you help him? So I did a little bit of work for him. And then in town, one of my girlfriend's daughters was on a VH1 reality show, and she said, oh, she's on a reality show and she wants to be an actress. And I said, well, let's make the most of her 15 minutes of fame.
Uh-huh.
And I started working with her, and then through working with her, I met another soap actress, an Emmy Award-winning soap opera actress, Martha Byrne, that also lives near me. And I got involved with one of her projects called Wait.
Uh-huh.
And then, it's like any industry, you find one person that opens the door to another person and another person. And through some of the writing that I did, I met this woman, Candy Strait, who was a producer. She was producing a show on ESPN, and she was working on a movie also, and I got involved in her movie. And she's really was the catalyst for getting involved in a different level with these film projects.
Right.
So I did Equity with her. I was a co-producer on that. And this show is empowering females everywhere. And this first project of mine was Equity. And that was funded by and produced by and written by females.
Right.
And this was the year before Hillary was running. So
Right.
we got a lot of buzz around our film. We were written up in the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal, because the film was about a female Wall Street investor running an IPO, and the people that were all behind the film were actual female investment bankers.
Okay.
And I got to meet a wonderful group of ladies through that movie. And
So what's the name of the film again?
that's called Equity, and that's on Stars and DVD, and you can get that now. Anna
Okay.
Gunn stars in that movie. James Purfoy, Alicia Reiner, Sarah Macon Thomas. It's written by a
Very
wonderful
nice.
woman named Amy Fox, who's a teacher at NYU.
Okay. All right. And what's the other movie that you had? 4 movies that you
Right,
worked
that
on.
one's finished. Right now in this movie called The Pages with Jamie Lee Curtis and Tika Sumpter. That one will be, we're at the film, we're looking at film festivals right now for
It's
that
completed?
movie. It's completed.
Okay.
We're looking at film festivals. The second one,
Is there have a website people can go on and see it?
I don't think we have a website now.
Okay.
Until it's out there,
Right.
we've been, we've had our, been written up in Hollywood Reporter and Variety and those, but
Good.
there's not much out on that one yet.
Okay.
Got to keep it close to the vest before it's out there.
Okay.
Then the other movie is Egg, and this one has Alicia Reiner in it, Christina Hendricks, and Anna Camp. Females also. It's about a surrogacy. It's kind of like a dark comedy.
Okay.
And
Comedies I like.
yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll be hearing more about that one soon.
Okay.
And then there's another movie called, this one we don't have a title yet, and it's going to be a flick about spies in World War II, and I can't say much more about that.
Okay.
But it's a fascinating movie.
Cool.
I think there'll be a lot of buzz around that one. And then the fourth movie, which I'm co-producer of, is called Killian and the Comeback Kids. And that is also produced, it's myself and another female that's producing that. And it's about a group of students that, they're not students anymore, they went to college, they are from rural Pennsylvania, and there are no jobs left there anymore.
Right.
So they come back and they form a band to try to win some money.
So did you get discovered today?
Starting up a band or something?
Yeah.
So the band's not showing up then.
So what, you're just gonna pull out, cancel our shows so you can go A&R?
It's not like they're gonna have a hard time replacing us, Killian. Come on.
You're really gonna do this?
No. But I've never seen a moon more full than the one tonight. So I guess that explains why the tide is washed with their remains. And of course I know that knowing will not make it so. A better world for you and me and all those crafts.
We're in post-production on that. We have an Indiegogo campaign to help finance our post on that, which is something I was not too sure about doing, but Zach Braff and, name a lot of Hollywood people are all turning to crowdsourcing now for raising revenue.
So you're doing Indiegogo?
Yep.
Cool.
Just
So
started.
this is Empowering Women Everywhere. I'm your host, Nan Gill, and we're sitting here with Suzanne Ordas Curry. And she's talking about the film productions that she's involved in. And she has 4 running now. And she has 2 shows streaming in Amazon. Do you want to tell us about the 2 shows? that
Sure.
are streaming?
One of them is called The Other F Word, and it's kind of like Sex in the City, except the women are a little bit older. So rather than dealing with boyfriends, they're dealing with ex-husbands and grown children.
Right.
And it's a pretty funny show. Please check that out. And then there's also Tainted Dreams, which is a soap opera online, which is full of iconic people that you'd recognize from soaps. Alicia Minshew, Michael Lowry, Tonya Walker. We have Jessie Goddard's from Big Brother in there. We have a Real Housewife in there. Natalie Livingston, just a whole bevy of soap opera people in there, because people may say that soap operas are dying, and they're really not dying. They're just finding another home.
Right. And it's Amazon streaming.
Amazon streaming, yes. People are tuning into that. Yeah.
Sounds wonderful. So how difficult was it for you as a woman to get involved in film and television and streaming?
Well, I think, as there was the old boys network.
Right.
There's an old girls network and a new girls network now.
Okay, I'm glad to hear about that.
Yeah, and they're alive and well. And if you open up, the Hollywood Reporter or Variety, and you're reading it, you're going to see all of these production companies that are being led by women. You're also going to see a lot of more women that are getting into the industry and getting promoted.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't feel as if there's, because I'm traveling, so to speak, with a group of women, and we purposefully hire women and look for women and seek out other women. I just think it's the new way of doing things. We're
Right.
still respected by the men. You have to work with men. We try to get the DP the writer,
Right.
the director to be women. And I think that, it's the product will speak for itself.
So if there's a woman that wants to get involved, or someone who's studying film in school or college or whatever, what website can they get in touch with you on to find out whether or not, there's any placement for them in your industry?
Well, I'd be happy to talk to anyone. I love to mentor young women, especially. You can contact me through my website, www.susiebehindthescenes. But I would just overall say, and I tell this to everyone, it's an industry where you have to make your contacts, you have to prove your worth, and sometimes that means working long hours and working for little or no pay.
Right.
It's all about, showing what your worth is.
So, and as far as you getting, looking toward the future, what are you looking? What's your vision for you in the future?
Well, I love working in film. I'm very involved in the Killian movie. I would like to do something more on the writing end. I would love to work on a holiday movie. I love rom-coms, so that's really something, whether it's on the writing angle, the producing angle.
Now, some people might not know who's watching what a rom-com is.
It's a romantic comedy.
Okay.
Something to make you laugh, happy ending. People always get together in the end. It's feel-good movies.
So you're thinking that that's what you want to write? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'd love to do that or work on a project.
Okay. We've been hearing a lot lately about some of the things that are happening in the entertainment world about Me Too. And would you like to say a few words about that?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, they say as Hollywood goes, so goes the world, or at least that's what Hollywood says. But I do think that we're at a turning point right now.
Yeah.
I was at the 10th anniversary of Women in Hollywood. I was also at the New York Women in Film and Television event, and the tone is different these days. The tone is that something is actually happening. And I think it's twofold. It's women are more willing to speak up. This has been going on for a long time. I don't care what industry it is, whether you're a farm worker or you're working in a store, the same thing is happening,
Right.
but no one is speaking up. So now people are speaking up. I do know, I was writing an article, I was asking actors that I know to please share their Me Too stories, and I'm still getting a lot of people that don't want to share their stories. And I think that's, it's embarrassing to people, and for fear of repercussion also. So I think that there's still 80% of the world, the women are still not going to share their stories, but those 20% of the people that are speaking up, they're saying, hey, it's okay to speak up. And now with Time's Up is it's a wonderful movement.
Right.
It's founded by several women in Hollywood, leading women. There needs to be legislation to back up any of this, because if you're still afraid of losing your job, there's got to be a better way to deal with it when there is a complaint. And the only way to do that is through, I think, legislation.
Right.
But you can't discount what this awareness is doing.
Right.
Because this is, my son, there's a commercial on TV, and there's a soccer player, and he is photographed, and it goes viral. And my son said to me, Mom, what if that was a girl? And I said, you are exactly right.
Yeah.
It's not right if it was a male. It's not right if it's a female. So I think that the message is getting out there, and it's getting out there to the young people. And hopefully that's
That'll be the turning point.
That's the turning point for change in the future.
Right. Because now people are standing up, and they're not. I think, years ago, I did some modeling years ago. And I know that whenever I walked down the street, I would get all the catcalls and everything from the construction workers, which was, as a girl 16 years old, that was very disheartening for me. Very upsetting. And then I know that a lot of men felt that if they said, oh, I'll give you this if you do something like that, that happened to me often, and I just said I'm not interested, and I walked away. But I would imagine if someone was shy, they might I can't imagine anyone, but it may have been a forceful situation. If you get in a situation that's forceful, and then what do you do after? So now to be able to not be afraid to speak up, I think the fact that a lot of women are speaking up, it makes the people that were doing this afraid,
Yes.
because they've seen so many people's careers,
Devastated.
finished.
Entire
because of what
companies
they've
have
done.
fallen.
Right. So I think it's really a wonderful thing, and that if anyone has any stories that they want to share, are you publishing them on your newsletter?
Yes, I am.
So if you have any, stories that you do want to share for the other women out there, please get a hold of Susie.
Yes.
Susie
Yes.
online, is that it?
Susie behind the scenes.
Susie behind the
Yes.
scenes. Yeah, thank you. This is Empowering Women Everywhere. I'm your host, Nan Gill, and we're sitting with Suzanne Ordas Curry. And she's talking about the Me Too movement. And what I'd like to ask her next is, do you have any projects that you're currently working on that deal with this issue?
I wouldn't say one directly, one indirectly. One of the films that I'm working on, which I can't say much about, has very strong women lead roles in it, where people will take notice and say, "Wow, look what they've done."
Right.
So I think you
Oh,
can't
I'm
have
excited about this now.
you can't have too much of that. That's what you need. You need to
Right.
show the world what women, and this is from the past, what women have been doing.
Right.
Because history a lot of times is about what the men have been done, and there's certainly a lot about what the women have been done that we need to know about. The second project that I'm working on is I am doing a series of articles on women in entertainment. And I've been interviewing a lot of female directors I'm starting with,
Okay.
and asking them about their rise in the industry and what kind of problems that they've encountered along the way. So I think when you read about people, I love to write, so I think when people, it's all about awareness and reading, and when you read things and you empathize with them, or you see, I can do that too, that's a catapult for change.
Right. When you hear about stories that women have risen above what they've been confronted with and continued on, then, it gives you actually aspiration to do more and know that you can.
Well, that's it. Every young girl out there, you have your mother as a role model, you have your teachers, then you have what you see. When I was growing up, it was just TV, so it was Mary Richards.
Right.
The girls these days are bombarded with role models, and some of those role models are not very good role models.
Right.
So it's a case of getting the right messages, I believe, to the young women.
Correct. Yeah, very good. We're watching Empowering Women Everywhere, and we're sitting with Suzanne Ordas Curry, and we're talking about women in the film and television entertainment and broadcast entertainment industry. And in your opinion, what women do you think are currently really good role models for women in the industry?
Okay, I think there's several of them out there right now. You can't not talk about an incredible, amazing role model without mentioning Oprah.
Correct.
She's led the way for so long, and her power is even greater with what she's doing now. And as she was abused as a child, she's African American, and what she's done with her life, the schools that she's built. She's a wonderful role model. But there's only one Oprah. There's only one Ellen also. You watch her show and you just look at the incredible things that she's done. And also with entertainment, people might just think of it as always entertainment, but entertainment makes people happy, and it entertains you, and it gets your mind
Right.
off of things. And I think Ellen has a wonderful way of doing that. She has people that are going through cancer and say, that's what got me through it. I know that I was with a friend of mine who passed away from cancer, and we would spend the time talking about what was going on in soap operas while we were getting her chemo, because
Right.
there's a purpose for entertainment. But as far as females making a voice for other females, it would be Oprah, it would be Ellen Reese Witherspoon. She has her own Hello Sunshine, and she's got her production company, and she is working with other females, and all of those that were in the Time's Up movement. Those are the movers and the shakers, the ones that could try to get something done. And they weren't, it's not just the females that we see on screen. There's sales agents, there's all these other people behind the scenes in
Right.
Hollywood that are also contributing to this movement.
Maybe next term we'll have a female president.
Well, you know, I've been watching. I'm looking at the very short list of who could possibly run. I don't think, unfortunately, Oprah is going to be there. Everyone wants her to run. I don't think she's going to do it. But I think that
She says she's not.
Yeah, she says she's not. I think that it is time for a female to be president.
Can you think of anyone that that possibly might throw their hat in?
I don't want to speak on this. There was a politician on The View the other day. They were tossing her name around, but I don't want to make any bets on this.
Okay. We just have to wait and see.
Yes.
It would be interesting if a female Republican ran.
Yes. Yes, it would.
I think that would be a wonderful thing.
Yes, it
if
would.
some of the female Republicans could stand up and say, I've really had enough of this type of attitude towards women, and I'm going to run. And it would be nice if we had a female and a Republican and a Democratic female running for president next term.
Well, I work with women on both sides of the aisle, and one thing I will say, it's all about their views, and I'm going to look at the person. We had a female that ran for governor in New Jersey.
Right.
And I look at the views, and I hope that everyone looks at the views and what they stand for when they
Right.
vote.
And their life. You know, you have to, if you're going to have someone that's in public office representing the people of America, you need someone with high moral fiber.
You do. I was on the Board of Education for 10 years in my town, and every time I hear someone saying something about a politician or what they said, all I could think is, well, you have to be in their shoes for even 5 minutes, and then you'll understand. Being in public office is a very tough job,
Yeah.
whether it's a small town or, I can't imagine, big town. It's never out of your mind. There's just so many pieces to it. I think people do the best they can, but really what we need are people of high moral fiber. That is
High moral
that's what
fiber
it
and
is.
dedicated to the general welfare of the public.
Yes. And
Because not to see what I'm going to get or how much money I'm going to make or what kind of business deal I can make because I'm a senator or
well, I think the word is altruism. We
Yeah.
need our politicians to have a little bit more altruism.
So
because
we're
it's
calling for you out there. If you have a good connection to moral standards and you want to work in the community, come forward and let's have you run.
I don't know how this ended up being a political discussion, but this is America now, and this is what we're all about.
That's it.
I've been looking for a house with no walls.